All right, welcome everyone. We've got a very special podcast. As always, the man, the myth, Matt Waxman. He's rocking Michigan today. Number 116. He's here. So he's a longtime friend, one of my best friends, not just in poker, in life. And it's a treat, man. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks for having me here today.
Hey, and I see you wearing the Michigan. I love that. That's actually from Michigan. That was Ann Arbor, Michigan. You bought that shirt. I remember at a birthday. What was that, like 6-7 years ago? Maybe 2013. 14. It's
Michigan was playing Notre Dame. They were both very highly ranked teams. We're at the big house. And then by the end of the season, they were both just dust. But it was fun, man. It was a fun time. I'm first time in Ann Arbor. I went out there for your birthday. And then I woke up this morning and this shirt's in the rotation. I just said, it's right on top of the pile. I said, oh, baby, it's meant to be. I got to wear this for the JG pod.
Yeah, that was an easy choice. Very nice, very well played. So, all right, let's dive into it. We got a lot to talk about. You have, I don't even know where to start. We could go through your illustrious career. You're a very humble guy. I know that's not what you want to talk about, but I do want to run through some of the joyous and the memories. And we were actually together sometimes for, we were in Vegas living together. Some of the live success. I remember when you won a World Series bracelet. Some of the big stacks on big tournaments you've won online and sort of the journey, which I always enjoy to kind of run back down memory lane. So I do want to spend some time on that. Also, Poker Rhythm, which is front and center. That's a project I know you've been passionate about working on for years, and now it's basically come to light. It's happening. There's stuff. You're on Twitch, you're on YouTube. The game is ready to be played, and I definitely want to talk and show that. So maybe I don't even know. I almost want to. I'd rather start with Poker Rhythm actually before we go down your career. Let's just make sure we get that, and then people can kind of hop in and ask questions. There is also a here. Let me just kind of show people what we're talking about. So yeah, first of all, go ahead and I'm going to actually very quickly just show over 4 million lifetime earnings. Let's just say we started 2008 was your first live poker. When did we meet? Was it 2009 or even before this? It was right around this, wasn't it?
We met before 2009 because I remember I won my F-Tops in 2009, and we were celebrating for that. Mm-hmm. So we probably met in like 2008, I would say, in Florida. I met you at an Isle tournament, right?
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I just wasn't sure what year. Maybe it was I think it must have been around 8. So, all right. Well, everyone can get a quick tease. We're just going to kind of scroll through. You see a lot of 6-figure scores, just a casual 720 in Paris. WPT Champion, no big deal. WSOP Bracelet, no big deal. WPT. The Tournament of Champions. Does that count as a WPT title, or is it not officially because it's like a special event?
Yeah, I mean, I count it as a half. There was only 80 players, but it was a 15K, and the competition was pretty tough. Okay. So whenever someone says 2 WPTs, I got to correct them. I say, no, that's an invite only thing. It doesn't count.
I think I might have blown that up in the promotion.
It's all right. Don't sweat it. It is a title, so.
It was an honest mistake. All right, so we'll go through that. We'll talk. You got Twitter, Instagram, guys. Go ahead, give them a follow, please. And now let's get to the good stuff. Poker Rhythm, which is here. I'm not going to play anything on. I'm going to let you talk about it. Very, very nice. I do love the logo and the name. How the R kind of it just rhythmically plays in the poker and rhythm, and it's all very cool. So we're gonna let you talk about that, and then go to the website here, and also just kind of talk about the teams and what's involved, and then I'm just gonna let you go ahead and do your thing because I like to talk. So I'm gonna shut up. You tell me what Poker Rhythm is.
You're a great talker. I mean, I gotta hand it to you. You're very, very good at the comms.
Run it. Give me the deal on Poker Rhythm.
All right, Poker Rhythm. This is my baby. This is my dream. This is everything. I've been working my butt off on this thing. I didn't even play the tournament in Florida. I mean, COVID stuff too, but I didn't even play this. I haven't been playing poker because I've just been diving into content creation and the business of poker, so to speak. But this business is a little bit different because it's made by poker players, right? And all the people that competed in this league. Well, let me just explain what it is. It's a poker league, a professional poker league that you can watch, but it's also a game that you can play. The game is in our beta. And basically the premise behind all this is a professional poker league where we pay pros money to compete as poker players rather than them gambling their own money. And we give them incentives based on performance, just like regular sports. So the idea is that it's radically inclusive, a little concept principle that you might be familiar with. And the idea is that anyone who wants to play in this professional league can go onto our platform when it's open. Right now we're in the beta testing. You can play, but we're not really like blowing it up, so to speak. But if you want to play in this league with guys like Andrew Lichtenberger here, or even like Kane Callis, and like a lot of these big name pros, Joe Cat is in there too, a Michigan guy. I know you love Michigan. You can play on our site and you get a ranking. So basically, it's called Poker Rhythm, not only because it's a play on rhythm, but because there's an algorithm in our software that ranks players. So you're playing for free. You're not putting up any money, and you're playing for a ranking on this site. And the idea is the top ranked players on the site get drafted into the next season of the league where they get paid professional contracts. And all this stems from an idea of me when I was growing up in poker, like playing poker. I'm like 18 years old, 21 years old. I didn't have a bankroll to just go play like the WPT main events at that time. You know, I didn't have people staking me. I had to grind it out. I had to play micro stakes and work my butt off and just start winning in poker. But I always thought I was the best. And I've always loved video games where you can kind of play and compete to like get a ranking and show you're the best. So I just thought like, okay, well, this is what I have to do for poker. I have to make poker into a video game, so to speak. I want you to be able to play online. You go onto a website. You got to use a computer. You don't need to download anything. You don't need to give any credit cards. You just need to make an email address so that you can log into your account. And we're going to store your ranking for you. And after every single match, you're going to get all these really cool statistics about how you played, how aggressive you were, how good the value was of the bets that you made. And you're basically going to show how your ranking changed. And you'll have like a percentage compared to every other player on our site. And you'll be able to see yourself moving up the ranks as you keep playing more, finding your rhythm, so to speak. But
I'm going to interrupt you for a second here because we're playing over on, again, guys, on YouTube. You can give him a follow. There's Twitch as well, Poker Rhythm. And there's Ronnie Barta. Congrats to him who just chopped at the Seminole Hard Rock. That WPT is such a good sign for poker. It got the third largest field ever, almost 1,600 entries. They guaranteed $1 million. It got, you know, whatever, what's that? 1,600 times 3,500, a lot. It got a lot of money in the prize pool. And Ronnie just chopped up, I believe, for like $545K, three-handed.
560.
560. I think it was 545, but I'll bet you on that, but no worries.
You want to bet? Let's. I owe you a pick off. You've got me pretty good in the past.
You want to pick me off? All right, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna look at it, but go ahead.
How much we betting? I want to bet he won over 560.
Okay. Let's bet dinner. A nice dinner though. This isn't like some, you know, Bahamas.
All right. Like 100 max, 100 min, 100 max dinner.
200 max dinner.
200 max dinner. You're on.
Yeah, and you get a date if you can find a date. You get you get if we can do a double date. All right, I gotta find it. Where is it?
I got a date. I'll bring my girl.
All right, there we go.
We got Miami dinner on Jeff. Let's go.
This is, when I get back, you're gonna be taking me somewhere nice. There's a bunch of stuff. I think it's on here, right? This is where they facilitated. So this guy won. I did know that. I remember seeing the chop yesterday, and I remember I looked if Ronnie won. Look at that, 546.
Okay, you might want to keep looking, Jeff, because there might have been a correction.
Well, that's dirty if that's the case.
I told you I was picking you off.
What did they put a correction tweet? Oh, that's disgusting. I saw this. Wait, I don't even know. I mean, that's kind of dirty, man. Honestly,
I said I was picking you off, and you were so eager to take my money, Jeff.
I wasn't eager at all. I just
not a great way to start the pod. Not a great way to start the pod. You got me good with that.
Is this live? I don't know if this is live or not.
We could ask Ronnie. We could ask him. He was just staying at my house. So
I'm happy for him. If Ronnie got an extra 26K or whatever, that's pretty nice. So all right, we're getting distracted. Nice congrats to Ronnie, who was just happened to be there. Look at this Poker Rhythm player. He's scooping his $500,000 scores. Let's get back and let this kind of roll. But I want to explain and just kind of go into more detail why, for me personally, I believe this is pretty cool. So like these different tables, you're basically setting up hands and seeing how different players, and I've watched some of it and I understand the concept, but you're basically taking different teams, different situations, and then seeing how people would play. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people in poker are looking for ways to get better, or they just think, oh, I busted ace, king, ace, queen at the end of a tournament, and they go home and they tell their significant other or their friends like, hey, there it is again. I gotta get an ace, king, ace, queen for 12 blinds.
100%.
And I'm whatever. But like, oh, well, what happened on the hand where it was small blind, big blind, and you folded 7-5? And this player here is limping or check raising or,
For sure.
you know, whatever. So, or 3Xing. And this, I think at its core is one of the ways it's almost like an advanced trainer, and it's kind of fun to see with parameters the same, you know, like you said, how you can see how different people do that. And maybe you could play a bit more on what that is and how that works exactly.
And poker is just like super intimidating for people that are just first starting out. Like I started gambling on poker when I was in high school, like 17, 18 years old. And I remember losing a couple bucks was just like nerve-wracking for me. So like this is a great way to bring more people into poker. They're not going to be intimidated by it because, you know, you're just playing for a ranking, right? And then you could always just reset your ranking and try again. But you're not losing your money, and you're also seeing like some key metrics like, oh, how aggressive of a player am I? How good is the value that I'm getting when I'm betting these hands?
Right.
So those are like the two main metrics that we use for ranking people. But we also use our format's a little bit different because you always play 16 hands. You don't get busted. You just play 16 hands, and that's a whole game. So if you want to only play like for 10 minutes, then you just play one game. If you want to play for a couple hours, you could just keep registering more and more and more games and seeing your ranking change. But there's no big time commitment, right?
So let me just understand, like when the actual game, because here it's set, the players are there, you play the 16 hands, it's pretty straightforward. Now, if you go on right now, if we wanted to play a game, I know you have a Discord. If maybe, I think Ghost of M's in the chat, he could drop the link to your Discord, and that's where kind of people are talking and scheduling games. How many people do you need to start a game? 4?
You need 4.
So as long as 4 people are on the site, could you play multiple games or no? If you're on the site, can you do that? Or
no, you can't. You can only play one game at a time, but they're fast-paced games.
Okay. And then so you're basically counting that the other players would the 4 need to finish those 16 hands. That's a game. Like if someone leaves or gets disconnected, you would need to
blind out.
They blind out, but you would need to finish that's how it is. And then so are they constantly are the games set? So like if I go on there right now and I want to play a game, will I get to see how I do against the population in that particular scenario? Or is it just always different? If 4 people come on right now and 4 come in 4 hours, are they going to play the same setup of cards, or is it always different?
That's a really good question, because if you watch our show over on YouTube, subscribes, please. Like we love it. We're just starting out, so we could use all the support. But if you watch that show on YouTube, you're going to see that scoreboard, and you're going to see the exact same hand. So right now you see Chris Brand. He has the ace jack, and you also, if you watch this episode, you're going to see Andrew Lichtenberger also had that ace jack. At the featured table, Ryan D'Angelo, huge online player, he also had the ace jack against the king queen, same exact board, same exact situations. And that's how we do this as a team competition, because we have resetting stacks. So you get the same chips to start of your hand, you get the same cards, the same boards, but each team ends up getting to play those cards. So by the end of the day, we could say, well, this team played their cards the best. They have the most points. Because once you win or lose points for each hand, your stack goes back to 100,000, just like the game online, but it gets updated onto our scoreboard. So if you look at the bottom, you see that scoreboard. It says the Archer 0, Grit 1500, Hula Gang -3. That's the score of the match, and that keeps on getting updated as the players win or lose chips at every single table.
Yeah, and again, the point is, like, it just makes so much sense, and it's so interesting because, you know, you're going to see, and of course it matters a bit on the other player, right? It's not just you personally and like what value you're going to get, or if someone pays you off or whatever, but it is very interesting to see in a spot like this where the board's paired, there's a flush there, you have a straight, who's checking back, who's going for thin value, who's bet folding, maybe is there ever, turning king queen into a bluff, even a spot where you're probably good and you have a lot of showdown value. So like, it is kind of fascinating to see how different players operate in scenarios like this. Because again, when you're looking as a poker player to find what's going on, like, if you have ace jack, you're probably just going to win this hand. Likely the king queen doesn't turn into a bluff. Maybe they just check call, but it's like, what sizing are you going for? And how do you stack up to other people? So I think this is like one of the best ways you could kind of truly get honest feedback and understand like how you compare to maybe others and see that you might want to look at differently how you're playing.
And it really just stresses the human element of poker. Like there's 4 different players at each table. There's 4 different players playing the same hands at other tables for other teams, and they all pick these different decisions. Some of them are still good, whether they fold or they call or raise. There's spots where it could go fold, call, or raise. Like we've seen hands where literally every single seat at each different table won the hand. Each different seat wins the hand. And it's just crazy to see. And like, I guess one of our big intentions with this is to show people like, yeah, poker is a game of skill. You know, it's not like blackjack where you get dealt an ace and a 10 and you just win because of the luck of the cards, right? This is a game that has so many different variables for people to weigh. And we really want to just promote players as just like being very smart individuals, being good at a craft, just like athletes, you know. So that's the overall mission for this project.
Very, very cool. And I got to ask you just about this because we were touching on this during the summer. I remember I had some stuff and commitments, and you got a lot of big names here, well-known, respected people, friends of yours, and also just people that are coming in playing. How difficult? It gives me anxiety thinking about it because during the World Series, you're filming this show. You got people have day 2s, day 3s. Usually the nights go very late. So how are you able to organize and get people to show up and commit? I know, to play, because that just seems like every day. It seems like, because these guys also, like, you got Scott Clement's got multiple bracelets. David
won a
Baker,
bracelet. That's
unbelievable players and guys that are competing. So like for them to come and play in a, sort of a pilot idea concept, they have to really believe in you and also want to help you, like, kind of volunteer, because like they're going to go late to some events and they're going to, or even maybe skip a day to come and film. How long did this filming take each day? And how did you actually coordinate with poker players to be on time and do this and drive and come to a venue to do that? It seems almost impossible.
Yeah. So Jeff, this was 2019 where we did this, in case you're wondering why people aren't wearing masks and they're not being like more cautious. Right. And to answer your question, both David Baker and Scott Clements won bracelets in 2019.
And actually Bojang did too, didn't he?
Ishmael Bojang won one as well.
Yeah.
And he's actually in this match too. He's playing in the 2-seat for Hula Gang, I think at table 1. But yeah, no, we did this in the mornings. Some people are like early birds and they wanted to show up even earlier. But we had 45-minute blocks. So we'd have 10 to 10:45. We'd have 10:45 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12:15, and 12:15 to 1. And we would just have these schedules throughout June. We have 21 episodes of Poker Rhythm, 20 regular season matches. Each team plays 10. And then there's a championship match at the end for the top 4 teams. But yeah, no, it was really tough. And I think the first match that we did, we ran over. We were like an hour late, which was really bad because, when you're doing a production, you got to learn these things on the fly. But literally by like match like number 6, number 7, it was tough getting poker players in here because they didn't even know what the concept was exactly. Like they didn't know 100% it was duplicate poker. They all signed non-disclosures not to reveal any of the results of the show so we could keep it fresh for everybody watching. But then literally by like after a few matches, after everyone played, they were fighting to get seats. They all wanted to come back and play, which was like such a great sign that our players actually enjoyed doing it. Because I mean, I was like begging people to fill these seats for the first couple matches, but then when we're midway through World Series, like people were just like happy to play. They were all excited about it. They're talking in the group chat. They're asking people how they played their hands. It was like a really cool atmosphere to see come to life.
Right. Yeah. It is. It's not easy to kind of pull it off. And I guess really the logistics of it live are more complicated. Once you get the programs done online and people can pop in and play. I mean, this is sort of the to show it, to visualize it, which is really cool. But obviously this is it's a lot to get people to show up. In Vegas, it works because there are people in one place, a lot of people at the same time. But it definitely isn't easy to pull off. And were there any issues with the cards, like in setting up? How long did it take to actually set the hands up at the different tables? And how did you come up with the actual hands? So
we bought like 20, 30 decks of cards. We use Copag. They didn't sponsor us, but I'll give them a shout out. Basically, we go to this site called random.org and just generate 13 random cards from the deck. 13 because you give 2 to each player. So that's 8 plus 5 for the board. So 13 total. And we just did that 16 times. And then we put it in a spreadsheet. Then I would take the decks of cards that were all completely set up and I would just go through them. I'm at like midnight, 1 a.m. I'm just literally setting decks. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And we would just set that up and we'd make 2 decks, right? Instead of doing like one for each table, we would just do two. And then as soon as one table was done, I'd take the cards, go look at the spreadsheet, and I just set them up again. Because you'd already have like the 13 cards that you need for the hand. And then I would just set them up again while the other table is playing with the new deck. And then we would have some alternate hands as well. So if somebody messed up on the first table only, obviously, we would have an alternate hand that we could then use. But it was tough, and we did have a rule in place where like, so I would tell my dealer to just deal the cards down, like just very slowly, and then slide them. No pitching, just slide them slowly across the table, because we can't have a misdeal, and there's like thousands of hands that we're going to be dealing throughout the season, right? And we can't have a misdeal. But we had a rule that if a player flips their card over, well, that's on them, right? And then furthermore, we even let you, if your head's up in a hand, you're allowed to show cards and get a read. Like that was one of our rules. Like, so we have players like show, like next episode, you might see a player show a deuce before they act. Like just a little teaser. We had in one of the previous weeks, Tyler Patterson showed his jack high and like stared down Adam Levy to make a call.
Right.
His jack high wasn't good, but it was still fun to see, you know?
Right. That's cool. Yeah. Very cool. So yeah, and then this is when is like the official launch? But then when you said it's sort of in beta, when is the actual game going to be full blown?
Yeah, the game's in beta. Like we're still working out the algorithm and the development, so I can't be promoting our game yet to get people to have official rankings, because I don't think that the rankings are going to be accurate for their play style. But you can play the game right now. It's available. We're just not really promoting it. We don't have our streamers playing it yet. But yeah, like go ahead on there. If you join our Discord, you can see other people. A lot of them are even pros that were in our league, and just say, hey, I'm trying to play a game real quick. Does anybody want to play? And the game takes you like 10, maybe 15 minutes. And then you could check out the game. It's the same exact format as the show that you can watch on YouTube. There are 16 hands. The first 8 hands are 500, 1,000 with a 500 ante. You have 100,000 chips every hand. And then the second 8 hands are 1,000, 2,000 with a 1,000 ante. And the reason we have it 4-handed and we have like really big antes is because we want you to be aggressive. We want you to play big pots. You know, we want to force people to play a lot of hands rather than just folding out. Like everyone knows how to fold and wait for like aces, ace, king. But like the real great players, they play all the hands. You know, they know when to play all the hands, right? You know, so there's like situations for that. And we want to encourage you to play a lot of hands. We want it to be exciting. We want you to be playing a lot. You know, we don't want you to just be like sitting there folding, waiting for other people to like these, like, you know, we want to encourage a fun game.
Right. Okay. And is so it'll be in the App Store, or it's going to be online? It's a web based. What's the ways to
you play it on a computer, and we are going to have an app soon in a future season. But right now it's just computer, and this way, like you can literally borrow anyone's computer. You don't need to download anything. You just go to pokerthem.com. You click play now. You could sign up for an account, and you just play right off of a web browser. That's it. You don't download anything. All you need is an email. You could go to the library. If you're homeless and you don't even have a computer, and you could just get a free library card, go to the library, and you could just type in pokerthem.com on the web browser with your free email address, and you could play. Like that's the point, is that you don't need any money to play or learn or get better. It's for everyone.
Very cool. Yeah, this is it here, and you can see the teams that were up, and it's got the Twitch link there, and you can go through and click on that. So very, very cool. I mean, that's, again, if you guys have questions on Poker Rhythm, Matt is here. I see people joining live in the chat, as well as if you want to ask a question on Twitter, you're eligible for a $55 ticket courtesy of Party Poker. We're going to go ahead and roll that at the end of the show. But see, I blew that 2-time WPT champ, but maybe, you know, I felt
they're WPTs. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So yeah, you guys want to see a lot of good questions. We will hit some questions down the stretch, but I do want to kind of go through for now and run through a bit of poker, what you think of the landscape, as well as go through your Hendon Mob and talk about your career. But let's real quick, tell me, what is your thoughts on this with the World Poker Tour, with COVID getting this many entries? Looks like people are ready to play live. You know, Michigan passed poker, Pennsylvania. It sort of feels like it's got another maybe boom or or a push? What's your overall thoughts on poker?
Yeah. Amazing, huh? The fact that they got 1,600 people at the Hard Rock. That's just incredible. I can't believe that they got that many people. It's 15 minutes from my house, and I'm busy working, but
how did you not play that? You're that busy, you didn't play the 3,500 Hard Rock outside your house? That's insane. Or is it more COVID or just like a hybrid?
Yeah, it's both. I got to wait for my parents to get the vaccine because I like to see my parents a lot. So I don't want to risk exposing them. I don't care about me. Like I think I'll be fine, but like they're older, so I would never want to jeopardize their health. And yeah, I've been busy working, so it's not a big deal to me. But to Hard Rock's credit, I was going to say, like, I've been looking at videos. I've been like looking at what they're doing. They got plexiglass. Everyone's wearing masks. They're like regulating that. They got hand sanitizers. They're like doing a really good job of having a safe space to play poker. So even though like I might not want to be in a crowded room with a bunch of people, if you are fiending some poker, which apparently like everybody was, they're doing like a really good job of that. So hats off to them. Hard Rock, good work with that.
Yeah, Tony Burns and everyone there. I mean, it really is. It's cool. I mean, that's where we were grinding and playing. I remember back some of those sit and goes and the Hard Rock. I remember that was like when I was 18 years old and I would come down here. I wasn't living here, but I mean, I don't know if you remember too. We go and play and like the sit and goes and be in there, and it was just crazy. I think it was like the cash games were $100 cap. So like 5-10 games and such, but it was 100 max and. Like to buy in, and it was just kind of wild times.
Well, even before that, though, they didn't even have no limit. They had limit poker, and everybody was playing for a big bad beat jackpot. And it was like a $20 buy-in or something like that. But the good thing that you could play there was sit and goes, right? You could play those tournaments, those one table tournaments. They had $140 buy-in, $250 buy-in, $540 buy-in, and then they had $1,050 buy-ins with all the regulars. So that was like the good poker, the good value. Like you wouldn't want to be playing like $50 dollar limit or something,
Right. Yeah.
But it's good times, man. I've been at the Hard Rock since they opened. I'm a Florida boy, and just watching that property develop into what it's become has just been like unreal. Like the poker there is now like really, really cool, and it's just been crazy to see. They're booming.
It's kind of wild to have that property, the $1.5 billion guitar that close to accessible and able to go play and stuff. And it's kind of funny though, because I don't know how you feel about that, but I used to like those to me were the most fun times back when we were, because like really it was like you, McLean, Begley. That was kind of like our poker crew. We go out to Vegas. We were in a house together for the summer. We would go around stops, like the dinners, like when the money was so impactful, like not that it's not now, but you're doing business. I'm doing other stuff. Like when I go play poker, it's not for life. It's not like, all right, this is like, because that kind of hunger and that passion, you can't really replicate it anymore, right? Like you go to the Hard Rock, you play at 3,500. It's exciting. There's big money up top. You're there, but you're not like immersed. You're not 18, 19, 20 trying to get your setup there and whatever. So, do you miss that? Do you miss those days of like playing online where like every turn card and everything mattered and it was like you were still exploring? Like, is that something you miss?
I'll tell you this. The Hard Rock used to have a multi-table tournament for $150 buy-in on Tuesday nights, and they would get like a couple hundred people. And the first multi-table tournament live that I ever won was $150 buy-in at the Hard Rock. And the guy asked me to chop it. And there was like 9K up top. And I was just like, nah, I never chopped. I was just like some arrogant kid that was just wanted the glory. Right.
Yeah.
And I won it. And my excitement after winning $9,000 was unmatched. Even after I won the Tournament of Champions, after I won I was amazingly excited. Like I was very, very happy. Don't get me wrong. I was so happy to win these huge titles, but it just puts it into like perspective that like that first tournament when I won 9K and I just had a 9K roll now, like from like 1,000 to 9K, like just that win.
Yeah.
The emotion was just like, it was amazing. Right. And just to your point, like when we were younger, it all meant so much more. But then when you kind of get like more seasoned and you're used to it, it's just like, all right, good. Yeah, I needed this to pay my mortgage. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to play big games now, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And like, that's even, like I said, like back in the day, grinding 1-2 cash and going to the casinos. Like I remember going to Windsor or going to, wherever, anywhere. I'd be on a side and like playing in the cash game. And it was just like so exciting, like to see how much or how it could go, or put a 16-hour session in. And, you know, like it was just, I don't know. I miss it kind of like as as life goes on, you get more responsibilities, more distractions, you know, whatever. It just becomes like less of a where it's just like you go and, you know, I kind of miss just going into a casino or and just like playing for fun. You know, and I think it goes in points. So like it does seem kind of like waves, right? Like you're younger, you have that point, and then like I could see, you know, and then there's guys that are older in poker that they kind of like, you know, they've done their business, they've got everything set up, they got their family, their kid, they're retired, and they like hit that wave, and then they're like, you know, you're like our parents' age, or the kids are out of the house and they're sort of whatever, and then it like maybe, you know, I could see going at it again. It'd be kind of funny to be like 60, 55, 50 and like go for like you know, play the circuit fully again and make a run. But all right, well, speaking of that and results, let's go through, let's dive down memory lane here. So, you know, we mentioned we met each other around this time, right around this 2008, mutual friends. Was down in Florida. I was sort of you know, I was spending some time in Florida, but was this, when did you win that 125 tournament? Was it before? It was just before this then, because I think some of those aren't documented, right? Those like
no, that's not on Hendon. They didn't even keep track of that stuff. But it was 150, yeah, at Hard Rock, and it was like 9K. I think I was 21. I was young.
So was that 2006, 7?
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. Well, so then you've already been playing. You're kind of warmed up. What was this like then? This was 2009. This was the WSOP. Was this the summer we lived together?
No, 2010 we lived together because you final tabled that summer, the 1K, right?
Yes, that's right then. So 2010. All right. So 2009, you go to Vegas. Where were you at in your poker career right here when you went out there and you know, had you already had some big online results? Were you pretty rolled up at this point, or were you just getting going?
I just won the F-Tops Turbo on full tilt before that summer, like a couple months before that summer. So I took like 20K out of my full tilt account, and I just went to Vegas, and I'm like, let's go. I'm playing all the bracelet events now. Like, this is awesome. I don't have to play the satellites to try to get my way into like the main and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm rolled up, man. I got 6 figures. Like, I'm playing these 1500s. I'm playing the 3K. Like, let me go. I'm going to win 6 bracelets this summer and set the record for the best player of all time, you know, obviously. And then, you know, I had a couple cashes. I think I was up like 5K going into like the last event before the main event that summer in 2009.
That's the 5K?
I obviously became a lot closer with you this time too. Like we just met, like we've known each other for about a year, but like, because then the next summer we lived together. But yeah. So I was up 5K and I just said to myself, all right, you know what? I can take home 10K. I got 5K for the 5K 6 max. I got 10K to play the main. I'm good. You know, if I lose 10K in the summer, like that's a good summer for me. So I just went into the 5K determined to just win the 5K 6 max. I was all pumped up. I went for it, man. I was making good reads. I played great, picking good spots. And yeah, I final tabled it. I was the first person over $1 million, but then, you know, that's poker. Cards run out. You get a little unlucky here or there. And I ended up getting, I think, 6th place.
Yep. That was a big one though. That was $1 million to first, right?
It was $1 million to first. Yeah, Matt Horolenko won that one. But yeah, it was over 100K. I mean, I was obviously steamed up because I wanted to win a bracelet and $1 million. But and I thought it was mine. Like I was rolling that tournament. But then I just like snap regged the main the next day because I was like, let me get out of here. I'm over this. And then I made a run in the main too. I ended up getting like 300, something 400. I don't know. Like I went pretty deep in the main.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got busted by a Bilzerian too. I think it was
funny.
Adam Bilzerian got me in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking at here at some of the ones. So I mean, so you had a good summer though, overall. You got kind of hot at the end, come back, profitable summer. And then where did you go from from there after that? So like now you build the roll a little bit, because that back then you could play online. You could be in Vegas playing online while like the tournament.
Everywhere, man. It was great. It was so much fun. I mean, I remember when we lived together, we would just like be playing like full tilt and stars out on like outside by the pool. And
I remember some big cash game sessions too. Like we'd buy action, like fire, like huge cash, like bed we'd be playing or whatever. It was, I mean, all time. This is all time fun.
We're like playing outside in bathing suits, and then like 5-minute break. We're like 5-minute break, and we all just like run outside and jump into the freezing cold pool.
To me, it's the greatest. It was the greatest time, greatest memories for cards. Like no responsibilities. We're all young and dumb and doing whatever we want. So, all right. So you have a good summer. You go back. I think you had some other success online between this time and 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't you win? What was your big online one? You won like 500, like a huge score online, didn't you?
Yeah. So after the 2009 World Series, I went back home and I won the F-Tops main event. It was like a $500 buy-in, and they had, I don't know, like 2,000 people in it or something. I think. Was it 2,000 people? I don't know. They had a lot of people in it, and it was like 500,000, I think, or 450 maybe.
Right.
I think it was like 450 for first, and that was amazing. Like that was like, now I'm just like, all right, yeah, I can travel. I can go to Europe now. Like that was what I was thinking. Like I can go play the big tournaments over there in Europe and like try to make a name for myself, and try to win Player of the Year or something like that. So yeah, I mean, that gave me a nice little roll. I remember like that Sunday, I registered everything online, and I was just like I was losing every tournament, and I just unregistered everything. I unregistered it all except for the main event. And then I went to go pick up basketball at like LA Fitness. And like, I just showed up like an hour late to the main. I lost like 600 of my 7,500 starting stack.
Right.
And I was just like, I didn't care. I was just like, we're not passing on any spots today. And I was just playing crazy aggressive. And then before you knew it, I had like 1 million in chips. I'm like, all right, well, maybe we'll try to, maybe we'll focus now. Like, let's do this. Like, okay, there's like 100 and 200 people left and 450K up top. Let's try to get a W here. And then I remember at like 10 o'clock in the morning, or maybe like 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning, my mom just walks into the kitchen. She's like, "Oh, you're up early." And I'm just like, I didn't go to sleep. She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still in the tournament." She's like, "Oh, that's great." And I just like didn't even mention anything else. And then like all of a sudden she's making coffee, and I'm just like, "Yeah!" And I just like yell so loud. I don't know. I was just playing some insane pots at that final table.
Is that when you won, or when you won a big hand you were playing, or when you actually won it?
So I won a massive pot against James Obst, Andy McLeod on Stars, and his name is the Fat Fish on, and he's like one of the most well-known online poker players out there. Like he's a complete beast. And I'm at this final table, and I'm like, okay, well, this Fat Fish guy, I didn't know it was him at the time, but I was like, this Fat Fish guy has great OPR official poker rankings, because you could look up players and see how much they've won, right? So I'm like, all right, this guy's probably pretty good. But then everyone else, I didn't really know that many other people at the table. And I had this spot where like I put in 4 bets on the flop that was 10 high with Jack 10, and he like 5-bet shoved. Obviously these days I would never put in more bets, but like this is 2009. So like we're just kind of like, it's different poker. And he like made a bluff with ace queen, and I called off Jack 10, and we're literally first and second in chips at the table, 7-handed. So it was just like a huge ICM punt from both of us.
Right. Yeah. It's terrible. Like, right. There's stuff now where you're not even supposed to, like, there's all this crazy ICM where you're not supposed to, like, there's spots where I was just talking to someone, I can't remember what it was, where like in certain situations when you're middle, like stacked, say there's 6 left and you're like 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 3, like there's certain spots where you flop the nuts with king queen, and you're supposed to like check even the turn when you have the nuts, like against the other stack, because of stuff like certain things like that. I don't know. It's kind of wild, but anyway.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're also going to limit your chances of, you might like win more money in a vacuum, but there's also value in just getting all the chips and just rolling the table, which is what I ended up doing. So I was like a 3-1 favorite with the 10. If this guy just turns over like a set, I'm just drawing dead though. But I just felt like based on the table dynamic, it was just a good spot to get the money in. And then he had like 100K left, like, which was like not, like 2 big blinds at the time.
Right.
And then I just went on and just completely rolled the table and just never looked back and won the main. So like we played for the whole tournament 7-handed. And it's actually really funny because I ran into James in the Raz tournament at the World Series, like maybe like 4 years ago. And we were just kind of like chumming it up. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll just tell him that like that was me. And I said, do you know the guy Polygraph by any chance? And he just like looks at me like, he's like, yeah. He's like, I have nightmares about that guy.
That's awesome.
And I just go, oh, okay. So he's like, yeah, I remember the F-Tops main. And I was just like, that was me. And he's just like, that's you? He's like, I thought that was just like some like person getting ghosted by like a top pro. Like I didn't realize that because I didn't have any sample size of hands played at the time. And he's just like, oh, wow, that was you. He's like, man, I am still sick over that hand. Like this many years. This is like over 10 years later or like 8 years later that he still remembers this. So, and he's gone on to win so much stuff and he's a great player, you know, but
more importantly, let's talk about your mom in the kitchen when you're when you're winning 450,000 from what, $500?
Yeah, 500 bucks.
Pretty good ROI. What did she say, or what did your parents say when that happened? That's pretty. I mean, she's like basically winning the lottery in your kitchen in the morning from a thing. Like what do they think? Are they like, their probably first reactions like, is that real? Are you how do you get the money? Right? Like they're probably like, is that what they were saying or what? Or I mean, like they knew you played poker. At this point, they were okay with you playing poker at a high. They knew you were doing well.
They're getting there. After this point, they were good with it. After this point, they're bragging about me. You know, right. Before this, they're like, yeah, I mean, you got a college degree. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Get a job. Do that. And I'm just like, no, I want to play poker. Trust me. Like, it's going to be good. Like, I can win. I'm good at this. And they were just like, okay and accepting of it, but they weren't like, they weren't that supportive at first. But then when they saw that like I was doing well for myself and you know, I never asked them for $1 since I went to college even. After they realized that, they became much more supportive. I gave my dad a ton of money to invest for me because he's a financial planner. And then yeah, after this one, like then when I definitely had like a nice little cushion, they came around. You know, they were definitely like much more proud of me and like, you know, very happy to be like telling like their friends like, oh yeah, my son's a professional poker player. Like, yeah, he does great. You know, right. So
yeah, for sure. That's yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, let's talk another pivotal moment in poker and life. And I think we were all, I don't actually remember if you were there with me because I know I was on Beg's couch in New York, Mez and Begley. I don't think you were there, but so fast forward, let's zoom through 2010. You hit some big scores online. You won the 450. I think you won another one as well. You actually win a ring in Atlantic City, the 1650 for 117K. What was that like? Was that that was, you know, 350 entries, nice score. Everything was cruising at this point? What made you go up to AC in particular to play in the 1600 in Atlantic City?
I was born in Jersey, man, so I always loved going to see the Northeasterners. Yeah. I was born in Princeton, New Jersey. So like I kind of like, I got a soft spot in my heart for all those like grumpy Northeasterners that are like yelling at people, like, you know, it's all love. And yeah, so whenever I go back to like AC, Borgata especially, it's always a good time. But yeah, it was a World Series of Poker circuit event. And this was like my first like major live title. It was like a 6-figure live title. I got a ring, definitely got like the monkey off my back there. And yeah, that was cool. You know, that was a good time.
That's so you win that one. You go then and let's just go zoom up a little more because the key date, and I think most people that played for a long time, we go through 2010. You go into Vegas, you know, nice score there. I see for 120K in March, and then all of a sudden the big date here, right? April 15, 2011, Black Friday happens. Now, you know, Polygraph no longer can just win 450K from his parents' kitchen. And Black Friday shuts down. And also, I believe you had 100K plus on Full Tilt. Is that right? You had money tied up because the money got caught up in these online. Is that correct?
No, I had a couple thousand on there. I blew it all because they had like these re-entry tournaments like a few weeks before, and I think I had like maybe like 5K on.
Or maybe Stu got. I have a note here that in 2009, like you had 100K on before you went to Vegas, and it was on there, and maybe Stu was able to help you or something, or maybe you had money on.
Oh, you're talking. Yeah, that was scary, man. I got right
Oh
when
no, 2009. This is not Black Friday. This is your
No,
account got frozen in 2009. Okay.
when I won the F-Tops Turbo, my account got frozen for multi-accounting. The first F-Tops I won for 100K, and that was like the overwhelming majority of my net worth on full tilt. And I was just like, what do you mean multi-accounting? I've never multi-accounted a day in my life. Like, this is nonsense. And it turns out that like when I went to FSU, which was like 5 years before this even, I made an account called Polygraph, which was the account that they made me switch to. And they're like, you have this account. And I was like, I do. So I had to like go into my old college email, find this account. It had like maybe 5 tournaments played on this account. So it wasn't even an account. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you the money. We just got to send it to your old account. You can't have it on this one. And I was just like, okay, but you realize that this is the account that everyone knows me on. So if you send it to this, you're actually making me multi-account. And there's no, that's what we got to do. So I was like, okay. So they transferred my money from my old name, Big Stack BBQ, over to Polygraph. And then Polygraph was the one that I won the F-Tops main with in the next F-Tops. So yeah, that was scary. You know, I almost lost my whole roll.
Yeah, it must have been pretty uneasy at the moment, because even like, you know, people there, you're probably going to get a handle. It's all good. You didn't do anything wrong. You just like, you never know, like spots like that, it could have a ruling or just decide or just be like, no, or whatever. So yeah, that's a real sweat. So yeah, Black Friday, tell me how that impacted your life and in the moment. Do you remember where you were when you heard that and found out?
Yeah, I was actually in a storage unit. I was moving between places, or no, I was moving it didn't really affect me because I was planning to just play live and just travel for this whole time. So I was putting all my stuff into a storage unit. And I just remember like getting a text or a WhatsApp from somebody that says like, you have money online, like it's all seized. And I was just like, whoa. But I was just playing live anyways. And I actually got I got the $500,000 that I won in the F-Tops off because my dad just told me like, take it all off, pay the taxes on it. Like, don't risk it. You can't keep it on there. I'm like, Dad, it's as safe as a bank. Don't worry about it. And then sure enough, he was right. Like it all got seized. And I couldn't imagine if all that money was tied up for that long. Because, I mean, they gave it back, right? They made good on it. Everyone got their money back. But it was locked up for some time, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I also didn't have much on there a little bit. I think I had some on UB or a little bit of stuff. I can't really remember, but it wasn't like it wasn't like crazy. But I know a lot of people that did have a lot on there. So, all right. So that doesn't change too much for you. You're kind of a live guy anyway.
I was going to Europe. I knew I was going to go travel around Europe and play all those events. I wanted to go to EPT London. I wanted to go to Cannes. I wanted to go to Paris. I wanted to go to, just all the spots in Europe to play poker over there. Just play these big prestigious tournaments. It's so cool when you go to Europe because these casino, like when you're in a casino here, like it's new construction, right? But you go to a casino there, that casino's been there for like 300 years or something crazy. And you're like playing in some of these spots and like, like just, I don't know, the whole vibe to it is like, it's kind of interesting. It's almost like a James Bond movie, right? Like you're just like playing over there in Europe, high stakes buying tournaments. You're playing with all these like European beasts that are just like so good at cards.
It's sort of like the opposite. Like when they come over and they go to Vegas, right? It's like fun. It's just different. It's like they see the movies, or it's just a totally different vibe. And you go there. And so tell me about this big win. So you get third in the Omaha High Low, which is a really fun game. So you have a nice score, and then you cruise over to Europe and Le
Grand Prix de Paris.
Right off the gate. Is this the first stop, or where did you go?
Now we went to Barcelona before that. And we might have went somewhere else. No, I think we just went. Maybe it was just. I don't know. We definitely went to Barcelona before that because Barcelona was not a fun time for me, even though that's like an awesome city since I've been back. But yeah, I remember I would walk after day one. I would walk to the aviation club with Byron Caberman every single day for like 5 days in a row, and he ended up getting fourth in that tournament. So it was pretty cool. And then Byron's still a good friend of mine. Like we play in the World Cup Vegas soccer team together. And it was just crazy, man. Like we're literally walking there talking about hands from the previous day every single day. And then the next thing you know, we're at a WPT final table, we're just playing for 700K.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty funny how that works in poker too. Like your friends and you know, and then all of a sudden you're playing for a lot of money, right? Or you get in there. And tell me a little bit about that final table and how you got off. Were you cruising the whole time? Did you come in with a lot of chips, or did you? What was your trajectory? Because this is a major win.
I was crushing. I was doing really well. Like the cards were falling for me this tournament. And then I took a really bad beat at the final table, 7-handed, where I think his name is Frederic. I kind of trapped him with queens because this like really aggressive guy opened the button and he was shoving a lot from the big blind. So I got queens in the small blind and I just called hoping that he'd shove, and he did. And I snapped and he had ace jack. And this guy, I was just like, he shoved massive with ace jack. Like he shoved like 40 bigs. It was something insane.
Which guy was it?
Frederic Magin. He got third.
What did you have?
I had queens.
Nice.
Good and he like flopped a jack and river to jack for like this massive pot. I would have been chip leader going into the final table 6-handed, but instead I got crushed down to like 800,000. I battled my way back up to like 1.4 million, I think, but I was like 5th in chips with that. But 2nd in chips was, I think, at like 2 million. So I was close, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just in my hotel room and I was just thinking like, nah, man, you don't get, this is my first WPT final table. Like I'm bringing it tomorrow. I'm winning this thing.
A lot of French there, a lot of French players. I mean,
yeah, we're Paris, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's really.
But a fun fact for you of that final table, the Aviation Club's air conditioner broke. And this is kind of like summer in Paris. And their air conditioner broke the day before for this room that we're playing our final table at. So they got like this fan, but it was like over 90 degrees inside this room where we're playing poker. We're all like sweating like crazy, man. It was tough conditions. I might have had an advantage being from Florida, I guess. But I remember there was like an AC over there and I was literally like putting my shirt over it and just like trying to keep cool. Like it was fun. I mean, it was crazy, but
that's awesome. And
you don't realize that, yeah.
How was the heads up? Was it pretty straightforward? Did it take a long time? Were you ahead, behind to start?
It was I think the heads up was like less than 10 hands. But I had a big chip lead. As usual in these tournaments, I'm just playing for all the chips like before heads up, right? Like I'm not really hanging around. I'm just going for it. And I ended up getting it all in with, I think, a flush draw against Hugo. I've been playing with Hugo all tournament too. And he's a French player. Great. He played great all tournament. And, yeah, I just got a flush draw. He got top pair. He was kind of short. We got it in and I rivered it. And, voila. Le champion.
Get it done. That's a nice one to check off. I want to scroll through some more of these because you've had, again, some pretty big scores. Talk about some wins, and then also I do want to leave time for the Twitter. As I said, guys, if you want to get a question from Matt, we'll try to answer some of these. I mean, he does have Twitter, and he will, if we don't get to all of them, and he sees some that he likes to visit, he'll do that. We'll try to get some of these here in the next. Spend some time on these as well, but I do want to cover a bit more of your results. So what changed for you after that? So, I mean, that's a significant one. That was $700K. Did you make any big purchases? You bought a home or cars or like anything that because that's a different level of a score.
Yeah, no, I bought a car. I leased a really sick place on the beach for a year or two, like 30th floor, just overlooking the ocean. That was pretty awesome. I got some nice furniture and, yeah, I got my car. I got I think I had a Mercedes at the time, and then I had an M3, 2013 M3, which was just my dream car. But then the funny thing is that like now I don't even care about a car. Like that's not even important. You change what's important to you, right? Like when you get a lot of money. Well, at least I did. Like you realize that like these possessions aren't really what make you happy. It's more like your relationships. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, if I won anything like today, I wouldn't really be spending money on any toys or anything too much with possessions. I'd be like more so using it for like an experience or perhaps like just to do something good.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, Amelia says hello. She's in the chat. I don't know.
Amelia,
Pop up when there's Mimi saying hi in there. I don't know if you can see that on StreamYard here.
tell Amelia that you're taking us out on a double date to dinner, thanks to Ronnie Barta and some bad reporting from Poker News.
I don't know. That's I can't. I guess it is what it is. That is what it is. I can't even argue it. I just remember seeing it last night. I did make it. I was trying to be nice. I said I saw it. I said I saw the report, and then bet you. But some guys.
And I said I'm going to pick you off. I told you I was going to pick you off.
I thought you said you were going to let me pick you off. That's
no, you picked me off already. I was getting you back.
All right, fair enough. Pick off's a pick off. All right. Well, now 1K. That summer I did final table a 1K WSOP event. It seems impossible, but it does happen. A lot of entrants, and here you go. Except you decide to win it and take it down. I actually remember watching that heads up, and we have some
You're
fun.
Next to me in my bracelet photo. You're on one side, McLean's on the other.
Yes, epic stuff against a very tough opponent. Heads up. I mean, tell me. I guess forget it. It's not so much even about this World Series bracelet and winning this event, but. B. Hanks at there too with a nice showing.
Yeah, Brent Hanks is there, Jason Kuhn is there, Amit Makija is there, and then Eric Baldwin. I had to play him heads up. That was a battle. We got to heads up in an hour, and then we played heads up for 7 hours. It was the second longest heads up ever in World Series of Poker history at the time. Only second to Andy Block and Chip Reese's heads up in that horse tournament.
Wow.
And we just played, and we played with no breaks either. So like when we had to go to the bathroom, we would do that, but we thought this tournament was going to end at any second. So we just wanted to get through it. Right. But it didn't. I think the short stack won the all in maybe like 15 times in a row.
So you were all in, I forget, it's been a while and I forget the exact, so you were behind at risk and as a short stack and it was flip flopping, or was it mostly you had him all in?
I had most of the chips getting the heads up. So I think that Eric was definitely behind more times than I was when we were all in. I think but still, like there was at least maybe like 5 times that I was all in at risk.
Wow.
I think.
All right. So
and there's probably like 10 times that he was. Like it was the chips kept going. Like I was 4-1 in chips, I think, when we started. And then at one point he had me like 4-1 in chips. And I was like, geez, I'm just gonna blow a bracelet. Like, what's going on, man? Like, am I really just gonna lose? Like I got to WSOP final table, I'm heads up with all the chips, I'm gonna blow it. I'm not going to win a bracelet, like.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I got to ask you then, what do you believe at some level? Because it's pretty nice style. Everyone's got a style. Your style is when you get to WPT, WSOP, you finish it. Big final tables, F-tops, you win it. Of course, there's tables that don't, but the major events, like your record.
I've got 1 second and like 10 firsts.
So do you feel that? This is also a 2-part question. One, is there anything, do you feel like you've run, because like the Eric Baldwin obviously could have gone either way, like it was back and forth, and anything in poker there's luck and whatever, but do you feel that you are a particularly good heads up player? Do you think you've been running pretty well? Like, because obviously that's a pretty ridiculous record for heads ups and in majors to finish it off. What's your superpower there?
Okay, so I do think that when I get there that I'm just really tapped in, and I definitely I don't think I can bring the A game all the time, which is something I wish I could do. But I do think that like when like everything's on the line that I really just focus up. But I think more importantly than that is like what I was hinting at earlier. I'm just going to take spots earlier on in the tournament that end up setting me up for success later. So usually when I do get to heads up, I have a big chip lead. So that's obviously like the big factor. And then of course, like just luck. Right. Like who are we kidding? Like if you win that many heads ups, you have to be very lucky. So I've definitely been lucky in those moments, but I definitely think that I could have got to a lot more heads up situations if I was more passive and maybe smarter and not so willing to gamble like before we get there. Right.
Right.
But yeah. I'm always in these like massive pots. Like I got a lot of like 8ths and 9ths too, because I'm just like getting into these like situations at a final table that I probably shouldn't be getting into.
Right. And I see some mention of Alex Jacob. Either you played with them or knew him, or you kind of talked some poker with them early on. Obviously, it did well in Jeopardy. He was kind of, I think, the USPC or USPO or whatever it was called. Had some success early and then went on Jeopardy, won money. Was that a friend of yours or someone you talked poker with, or what was your connection?
I went to middle school with Alex. We were on the basketball team together. And then I reconnected with him after I graduated high school that summer playing a home game. And he was home from Yale. He's a year older than me. And then that was like a great leg up I had in poker because Alex is just like a very smart guy, very mathematically based. So he was able to like teach me a lot of fundamentals about, like, I was just an instinct guy. You know, I was okay at math, but like I was mainly an instinct guy. And after getting to play a lot of poker, like going out on cruise ships and playing big poker games with Alex, he definitely was able to stress a lot of like important concepts that I could think about. And no one in the world is really thinking about this. Not even like the top pros were even thinking the same way as him at the time. Poker has come such a long way and people have gotten so good at poker. But at this time, no one even played poker. It was just old people on their social securities like playing. It was no young guys like us. It wasn't like the boom where the online thing happened where Moneymaker won. And then like all of a sudden, now you go to a poker room today and you see like, I'm like the oldest guy at the table, right? And I'm 36. And you just see all these kids in like hoodies with their like headphones on that are just like, you know, playing their style. But like back then, like I'm on a cruise ship, you know, with the average age of the table is like 60, you know, and people are just like kind of there like socializing, just having fun. Like poker's just like their fun little hobby, like bridge, right? It didn't blow up yet. So Alex kind of gave me a leg up and gave me like some very key strategy at the time that definitely helped my poker game, you know, for the future.
Very cool. And what would you say? Because, you know, I know I have a decent idea, but what is like your study, or how would you say, you know, looking back at when you were playing the most poker, and back then there wasn't really like solvers and this and that. And I don't think that's really like a main thing in your game anyway, but what do you do? How have you been able to improve and become, do you think it's from the contacts you have, being able to discuss poker with some of the best? Is it that your work ethic? Have you done run it once? Have you done programs? Like what was your, you know, what has been throughout your career? What has been your potion?
So no, I, you know, I've always like thought about poker a lot. Been almost obsessed with it, right? Like when you have a game that you love, you eat, sleep, and drink poker, right? But I haven't really got into like any of the pure like math-based stuff or like all of these like great like that's never been like appealing to me. What I would do is I would literally go home after every single event hand that I played, and I would just think about them. Just like, well, what if I just call here with that hand? What's good about that? Or what if I just 3-bet this hand pre-flop? Like what value does that have? And I'll think about players' tendencies, think about my own image, think about the way these hands play, and just kind of like dissect it for myself so I have my own style. And I think that that's very important. To be honest with you, there's so much like resources that you can learn how to play good poker from. But if you don't have your own style, if you don't know how to deviate from like, you know, regular strategy and be able to incorporate like your own, you know, poker is about weighing variables, right? You got to take 1,000 different things happening at once into consideration, weigh them on a scale, and then come up with the best strategy in the exact moment based on everything that you're given. And you got to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. So if you're literally just playing by a book or like just like looking at like an app of like a range that you should go all in with, you're going to be pretty predictable, and you're never going to be like that profitable unless you just get really lucky, right? But if you can like look at somebody's face, think about their timing, think about your hand, think about what they did 5 hands ago, think about every single thing that you've said which might affect their perception of you, and just kind of like have game theory to like really weigh everything together. That's how you're going to be great at poker. And like I've played so many hands where people are just like, what are you doing? Like that was the most awful hand I've ever seen in my life, you know? And I'll never like correct them. I'll be like, yeah, you know, I just went with my gut. You know, I'm never going to like talk a lot of strategy with somebody, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to kind of have your own style, right? You like, you can't, if you just play like everyone else, if you play like the way everyone else teaches you, then you're going to be very predictable and you're never really going to excel, at least not in live poker. Because live poker is exploitative. Whereas online, yeah, you're probably going to want to have some better fundamentals. You're probably not going to want to be making that many mistakes or like too loose of opens and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot to be said because, you know, everyone says that poker is solved, but that's just not true. There's just too many things to account for it to be solved. So I would definitely encourage everyone to kind of think about their own game, think about their own style, and try to identify as many of those different variables at the table as you can to help make the best estimations of what you should be doing, like what strategy you should take.
Right. I agree. I'm with you on that. It's interesting. You're more like the Bryn Kinney style. Like there's some guy like solvers and all that stuff's kind of cool, but it's a little intimidating. And as long as you kind of you don't necessarily need to know how to do solvers, but if you're able to look at some stuff, review hands, talk with people, and then apply it, because like you don't need to memorize every board text or every plot. You're supposed to check raise. You start getting patterns, look at things, and see people doing stuff in spots where maybe you're not thinking about it. You can sort of learn a lot, and you don't have to be the one that goes diving down solver world, which can be
100%.
intimidating.
Yeah, you definitely need to learn that kind of stuff. You need those fundamentals. Those are going to plug major leaks in your game, but you also got to learn how to deviate from them too. A good way to get the fundamentals, if you don't do it online though, like I've been lucky enough to have like some really good friends who are really good at poker. I've spoken some hands with my buddy Jason Mercier. I talked with Vanessa Selfs a lot about when I was coming up in poker and I was playing all these big tournaments. Like, they would definitely be like, no, you can't do that. That's terrible. No, that's an awful 4-bet spot. Like, I would definitely like learn a lot of fundamentals from them. So I don't want to say like I just naturally came up with the best way to do it. You talk hands, right? You talk with people that play poker and you learn what you can, and then you share what knowledge you have with them so that they can improve their games. Maybe like that's the way the poker works, right? Like it's an information game, right? So you want to share that information with the people that you want to see do well, right?
Exactly. I agree completely. And again, we could spend a lot of time just on your career. I do want to touch on two things: your deep, what you think has been your deep runs in the main event, and I do want to get some questions in. So you've had a 45th, and I believe I forget, was it before or after? You got 45th, which is like final 5 tables of 9, and then I think you had another you got like 50th?
The next year I got 75th, maybe.
Okay, so you've gone super deep in the main a few times, and then you also won the Tournament of Champions, which is pretty cool, for 460. The live, all the WPT champions are invited, and then it's 15K buy-in, and you took that down. So that was pretty sweet. And I guess just real quick before we take a few questions, tell me about those winning the WPT champions. How cool was that? And what other have you gone deep in that one before? Do you play that every year?
That was my third. Yeah, that was my third time playing it. I never got past day 2. Never made the money. And then that year, I had it, man. I was tapped in, and I'm going to attribute all of it to that February. I was overseas. I went to Australia in January. I was playing the Aussie Millions, didn't do well. And then I was launching this business. I had a lot on my plate. I was really stressed out. And I just said to myself, like, I got to get away. I got to get out of here for a little bit. So I ended up going to Thailand for like 2 months, just on my own. I met up with some friends there, but like for the most part, I wanted to go on my own. I wanted to learn though. I didn't want to just like sit on a beach. So I got certified for scuba diving, and then I went to a yoga retreat and just like learned yoga. And what it did for like my mental state and like my own balance and just like my own like stress management was amazing. And I hadn't even talked about poker for months. Didn't think about poker at all. And then I came home and I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'll just like play the WPT main. It's going to be in Vegas. Like, it sounds pretty sweet. Like, or the WPT Tournament of Champions. Like, let me just jump in there. And I was tapped in, man. Like I wasn't brushed up on my poker strategy. I wasn't like playing a lot, but I think that was a good thing, right? Like I was excited to be there. Like day 1, I'm playing. I got like Eric Seidel sitting on my left. Like this is like my poker idol, right? Like Eric Seidel is just like this like New York guy. He's just like very humble, and he just plays like incredible poker. He's been like playing great for forever. And I'm just like playing with Eric Seidel, and like I got Danny Alaei. I just busted Danny Alaei in the pot where I flopped 2 pair against his kings and got it all in with him. I just got all these like monster like WPT legends that I'm playing, and I'm just like tapped in. I'm pumped up, man. Like I want to win this thing. And then the cards fell my way. Like I got really lucky. Of course, in any tournament you got to get lucky. And the next thing you know, I'm just I won the Tournament of Champions. I wasn't even planning on playing it like 2 weeks prior. And then I just shipped it. And I think I owe it all to like my mental like stability, like just like that calm and collected mindset, right? I think that's like even more important than like just like cramming poker strategy into your head, is just like making sure that when you show up that you're ready, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at this list here. Pretty sick final table. Actually beat podcast guests, second and third podcast guests, and seventh. A lot of podcast guests on that list there that you took down. Matas has had some great results, and Darren Elias, the most WPTs ever. I remember there's some crazy hands. I think you like got it in behind and ahead, and there was like coolers and some queens to kings and crazy stuff, right? I mean, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, we were both under 40 bigs, three-handed, Darren and I had jacks and he had queens. We're both way ahead of the other one's ranges in that spot, and we got it in, and I came out on top. You know, might as well be aces to kings in that situation because no one's folding, and I got really fortunate to win that, and then I had a nice chip lead, and it worked out that I won the event.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, I do want to take a little bit of time here on the podcast, and we're going to do this Twitter giveaway as well. And actually, while I'm going to read through a few of these questions on what to choose, I did see Pappy Winkle 23 in the chat. What's up, man?
Pappy!
There he is. He's asking.
He was hanging out on the Poker Rhythm stream the other day, Pappy. Shout out. It was good to see you there. Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. I got to plug it, Jeff. I'm sorry. Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, a new episode of Poker Rhythm. I'll be commentating it live. Come hang out with us, please. We could definitely use the support.
Do it.
It's 4 p.m. Eastern.
I endorse that message. So Poker Rhythm, check it out. It's pretty freaking cool. You guys can go and sign up, watch or play. And then it gives the information there as well in the Twitch stream. And you can kind of find everything there. Poker Rhythm, tricky with the spelling, cheeky. The R plays on both sides. So be careful when you're
poker algorithm.
Exactly.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with your podcast. I guess 116 episodes, you got good practice, but I see you just like, you got the visuals, you got the us on the side, you know, you're showing the site, you're doing like, thank you, dude. I'm so happy that you had me on here. Yeah, this has definitely been fun to go down memory lane. It's not a hobby. We like to say that, Waxman. Not a hobby.
Not a hobby.
You're a pro, man. I can tell. I'm impressed.
Well, we'll see what we're on our Waxman. You know what? You're buttering me up today with the Michigan shirt and the whole deal, but I'll take it. I like compliments. I really do.
Being genuine, man. I'm not buttering you up like you're.
I know. I'm not. That's that. Butter doesn't mean that it's not good. Doesn't mean it's like
real butter. It's real butter.
This is what I'm saying. So, all right, we got.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, I gotta. Do you own any wax companies? I know it's kind of a joke, but like, what about wax cards? Do you in wax, breaking wax? I gotta ask you about sports cards. You know,
I'm not big on the cards. I'm not. I used to have a ton. I think I got a Reggie Jackson rookie card. I don't know. Maybe I gotta have you like evaluate that. Grade it. You gotta grade it for me.
Just send it over. Just send it over. We'll figure it out.
But bro, you got me thinking. Maybe I should start like a crown company or something. You know,
you got something. You should. The name is too strong not to play on it. You went. I like Poker Rhythm though too.
I grew up on Candlewood Drive.
This is all right. This is just not. I'm trying to think about.
I'm just saying that's a true thing.
That's a lot going on. I got to save time for the giveaway. We're giving away $55 ticket. Get your questions in. Get them in now. Again, Matt hopefully can read through some of these and maybe answer some. Hopefully we'll get to do a couple more here as well. But I want to ask you from Great Bluff, Mary, what advice do you have for longtime recreational players who want to get better?
Great Bluff, Mary.
She's a very strong player. She hit the big game on Party for a big score. She's really had a big COVID.
Congratulations, Mary. That's awesome. What advice do I have for players that want to get better? Hours, volume. Get that practice in. The more you do it, the better you get. There's tons of resources. You know, you could see a lot of stuff, but I'm not just going to cap it at like charts or strategy videos. Like watch poker, watch live poker, and look at people's faces. People don't use that. Like look at what people look like when they're bluffing.
Got a mask on at the tournament. What do you do?
Well, don't worry. Like give us a year, we'll be out of this thing. You know.
It makes How big do you think like wearing sunglasses and a mask though? It's tough though, right? Like you like the live like that would you prey on. I
have so many mouth toes, Jeff. I can't explain to you how many mouth toes I have. That's why I'm not playing. Actually, I can't get that value when I see that little twitch in the mouth. I know I just know, and I can't get that. So like I can't win. I basically can't win. I'm giving money away. If I got to do poker fundamentals, I don't have a chance, right?
It's actually, yeah, it is interesting. The mask deal. I think people that might just be like, that could stick around for a while. Yeah, that's true. All right, I got to ask you, from Chris Robinson here, a longtime supporter. He is saying, what was harder to accomplish, winning WSOP bracelet or becoming CEO of your company? It's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. Actually, becoming a CEO of a company is easy, right? You just gotta start the company and then just tell your people you're the CEO of it, right? But it's actually being a good CEO, which I don't even think I am yet. You know, I'm learning this for sure. That's the hard part, and yeah, business is so tough. I have so much respect for like all these business people that I know now. When you realize like how much hard work goes into this. I can't wait till the days till the time that I get to just go back to just playing poker. Like I'm excited for that. Like just focusing on poker. Like I thought I had it tough before. No, like I'm looking forward to being able to do that again. But business, on the other hand, that's tough, man. So I would definitely say being a CEO, being a good CEO, right? Like you could be a CEO if you want, just incorporate a company, but being good at it, like doing a good job, making sure that you get people surrounding you that are going to support you and share your intentions and just like doing it right. Like that's it's so hard, and I'm learning. You know, for me, I'm learning. So yeah.
It's a lot of work, man. I know how much time and effort you're putting into it, and that it's a process, right? Because it's like you have your vision, you know what you want to do, and then you start realizing, well, it depends on. It's not all about you. You got to have a good team. You got to have good people that are in aligned.
And you got to be a good leader. You got to inspire people to want to do a good job for the company, right? You need to work together, and it's so hard. If you're in poker, you just show up and you just take everyone's chips. It's easy, right? But when you have to like create a team and get them motivated to do a great job, organize it all, that's really tough. So I'm learning, like anything, you know, just like poker. You know, I've only been a CEO for a few years. I've done poker 18 years, right? So like, hopefully I'll get the hang of this thing and we'll have a great poker product for people to come play and watch.
That's awesome. And let's do a couple more here before we do this ticket. Do you support any football team? What's your club team?
So football, Euro football or football American?
Both.
All right. Well, my boy Josh got me on Chelsea, right? So I'm a big Chelsea fan when it comes to the Premier League, and you know they haven't been as great as they were like a few years ago, but I'm not a big Chelsea fan. Let me just say I don't like follow the games a ton, but when I do watch, Chelsea's my team. Okay, that's what I should say. I got a Chelsea jersey. I went to Chelsea, Liverpool, over in England, UK. I don't know, whatever is the right way to say it.
Yeah.
And then for American football, unfortunately, I'm a very loyal Jets fan. We didn't have a good year, but that's my team. I was born in Princeton, New Jersey. My dad's a Jets fan. I'm a Jets fan. Jets, Jets. That's my squad. I'm sticking with them. We finally got a good coach. I think we got a good coach now. So I'm looking forward to the next season. You know, I am.
It's always it's always close. All right, let's do last one. Which was more meaningful, WSOP or WPT? Tough choices, Matt. This isn't a layup podcast. You gotta make some picks here, man.
Yo, WPT is my brand. Okay, I love the WPT. Adam Pliska, incredible CEO, big role model for me. And WPT takes care of their players. Like I love their product, their brand. Like this is a prestigious title that you can win. I love the WPT. And the World Series has been a joke. I got to say it. World Series, you guys have been letting us down. You got a watered down brand, and they get to be on ESPN. Like ESPN is the network to be on, and that's why they're so great because everyone sees them on ESPN. But World Series has just been a huge disappointment, and it's very clear that they care more about just like that profit. You can't blame a company for wanting a profit, but like they haven't been doing a good job. But as far as winning the title, like my WPTs, I kind of just had a big chip lead, and like the heads ups were like pretty short. So like winning them wasn't like as big of a relief. Whereas like when I won my World Series against Eric Baldwin, like I've never been so tired in my life. Not even at like a poker table. I just mean in my life. My brain was on fumes, like short circuits. I remember I was with you like the last break we had before I won, and I'm like, dude, I need some energy. And you bought me a orange Gatorade and a pack of almonds.
Dangerous combo. It's hard
you
to.
got it for me, and I just like ate the almonds and just like drank some Gatorade, and I was like, all right, good. This will give me some brain energy, and I'm telling you, after I won that World Series, it was just like, whew. And we had we had like hundreds of people. It wasn't even the Thunderdome. Like everyone I knew from Florida was there. I had so many friends there. And then the TD gave me the mic. I couldn't even put a sentence together, and he gave me the microphone. I'd never seen him do this. He's like, Matt, I don't normally do this, but this was a heads-up battle. Why don't you say something to the fans? And I was just like, I'm happy.
I'm like, happy. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. That almond Gatorade combo is supposed to be a secret, but that's fine. This is the podcast. It's all friends and family and people that we really want to support and grow the game and their best. So that's okay. Thank you for sharing that. And Matt, we are going to give a ticket away. So I got to go up here. If you guys want to answer a question, you can do that. You can ask it. I'm going to copy this. Look at this nice little tool. I'm going to have to bring you in on this. The Grid Gaming tool. This is a little bit of a secret, but this is how you do good Twitter giveaways. Okay, Matt. So I would recommend get some giveaways going. So let's fetch this data. I'm going to let you go ahead and choose the winner, but I'm going to get you teed up for it. So one winner, blah, blah, does all this, create contest. This is not easy. This is like, this is serious stuff going on. So we got to download these retweets, 113 eligible winners.
Wow.
Get rid of the bots. Gets rid of the bots. It does like this thing. This is serious stuff. So no one's just picking up 55 in the street. So now it's down to 112. Looks like there was one fake person in there. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you choose a winner. So you tell me when someone.
Can I give away some seats for poker? If I pay you some money for some party seats, can I give Poker Rhythm watchers some seats?
Wow, that's interesting. We could do that. I think we could figure that out. It's gonna be that's a great idea. But let's start
a conversation. But I think I'd like to do that for the Poker Rhythm fans. Okay. And just give them some feedback for helping promote us, helping us get the name out there, right?
I love it. Let's do it. Well, you tell me when, and I'm going to pick this first 55 winner.
You want me to close my eyes?
You could do that. I've never seen that done before. It can't hurt.
All right, tell me what do I do? Just say when.
It's on you. Boom. So winner is being chosen. I'm sure someone's winning right now. This is loading up a 50.
Let's go.
Look at this guy. His name's Lucky in his name, and he just banks a 55 ticket. This guy's name
really is Lucky.
Chuck. I mean, that's just crazy. Look at this guy. He's never won before. Congrats. What is your, you can see what I'm writing. Party poker username. Usually it's cut off at the bottom. All right. So that's that. That guy's in there. And that's a $55 ticket. Wax, I would love to have you do more giveaways. I have actually commentary for the WPT 3200 Montreal via online today. I got to think about what we could give away, but maybe on when I come on a Poker Rhythm broadcast, we could do some of that.
Are we going to get you on the show?
I would like that. I think, I'm
all right. Yeah. Usually we just have players who played, but if we could get a JG guest appearance, I would love that.
That seems like that would be very, very doable. When it's Tuesdays?
Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern.
For how long?
The stream lasts about like a little over 2 hours usually.
Nice. Okay.
But there's pre-production, Jeff. This ain't no joke, man. We gotta make sure your mic's good. We gotta make sure your camera's good.
He's doing it. I gotta get Ronnie on the show too, man.
Oh, that's the Easter egg. No one's supposed to know that. I don't tell people that.
Oh, is that what that was? All right. Well,
you gave away a real secret, a Poker Rhythm Easter egg secret.
We just gave a few secret. We each gave one for one, eye for an eye. Well, in the meantime, Matt, we are going to ride off into the sunset. If you can get on Twitter and answer some questions, if you see any that you feel you like, look at that focus, number 116 in the books. There it is. And there's a lot of questions. We do appreciate it. I'm seeing it. And someone just banked a 55 ticket. Matt can go through and maybe answer a few more. We covered a few. And also, Matt, we have all the makings of a repeat podcast guest. So we could save some of these for later. We could cover other stuff. And we didn't even get to cover everything, but we covered a lot. And Poker Rhythm is out. It's there. Go to the website, check it out. And
sub to our YouTube, follow our Twitch.
There it is.
Right see you on Tuesdays.
Yes. See you on Tuesdays. That's interesting. thing will be back 185. Look at this. Hit the subscribe button. Just smash it. Get in there.
Beta before the rankings become official. Get in the Discord. Just get in there. Talk to some of our pros from the show.
You got to do it, guys. Seriously, support Waxman, support Poker Rhythm. I love the concept, love the idea. Let's help him make it a big success.
Somebody listening to this podcast to be the one drafted onto one of the teams. We're gonna have 8 people, one drafted for each team. I want somebody listening to this podcast right now to be one of them, at least one of them.
Guys, please do that. Say hello in the chat. Leave a comment. Let them know that you're there from the podcast. And Matt, we'll see you for a dinner when we're back in Florida and social distancing and all that. And put it down. And we got a double date. We're gonna have it. You won. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Hey, absolutely, bro. Thank you so much. Matt Waxman, number 116 in the book. We got more podcasts coming up and Poker Rhythm Tuesdays. Catch it live on Twitch and then YouTube. They got a channel. Give them love. We'll see Matt soon and appreciate you guys. I'm going live on WPT commentary for Party Poker on the Twitch channel in about 20 minutes. So I'll see you guys over there. And thanks again for watching.